Right. Well, let's hope, Harris, that there'll be the votes to pass the president's proposal. It's a fair and reasonable proposal. It's made in good faith. The president has shown his willingness to compromise and to put forward a plan that addresses a lot of the Democrat concerns, that reopens the governments, gets federal workers paid again, and addresses the crisis at the border. So we'll see where the votes are this afternoon. And like I said, I'm hopeful that we'll see some Democrats that will conclude that the best way to get the government open again is to vote for this amendment.
And Senator Thune, I would imagine you know that there's some things that are changing on your side of the political aisle in terms of the votes that you're probably whipping for policy on your side. Senator Cory Gardner now on a list of 3 GOP senators who say that they will vote for both bills. And on the list, if we put it up on the screen here, Senators Gardner, Collins, and Murkowski, and then one Democrat, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, saying that they'll vote for both. Does that reflect that they are moderate, or that they cannot commit one way or the other, yes or no, on the wall? Because these bills are split that way. One has wall funding, one doesn't.
Right, and I think that every senator obviously has to, determine what's in the best interest of the people that they represent in their state, Harris. But again, if you want to have a piece of legislation that reopens the government, ends the shutdown, gets federal employees paid again, addresses the wall issue, provides supplemental assistance to those areas that have been hit by disasters, the proposal put forward by the president, and addresses a number of the Democrat concerns when it comes to the DACA population and the TPS population, that's the only bill that does that. What the Democrats are putting forward is a short-term continuing resolution that takes us through February 8th, but doesn't do any of those other things. So to me, we have a clear choice today. People are going to be able to go on the record, and we have individual senators, as you said, who've indicated they will vote to reopen the government no matter what form that takes. And that's just something that as we get into these votes this afternoon, we'll get a better sense of where people are at.
Why do you think the list of GOP senators is growing? Anything it takes will vote for both just to get the government to reopen. What are they looking at?
Well, I think there's just a frustration overall that this is dragging on, and obviously it has very, very human, very real personal impacts on people. But in the end, I think it's that, and a concern that we're not getting to a solution. And I think most of our members want to get to a solution, and we're offering that today, and hopefully there'll be yes votes for that.
Let's take a look at what some people are dealing with. 54% of them say that they couldn't miss more than 2 paychecks without having trouble paying their bills. And actually, when we pop that up on the screen, what you're going to see is that some people couldn't miss even one. 20% of them said no paychecks missed, and they'd have trouble in this scenario. But you add all that up, and things are getting dire. So what has to happen today if both of these bills fail?
Well, obviously, a negotiation that gets us to an outcome or gets us to a result. But you have described, and of course we're all hearing that from people back home, these impacts are very real. 50% of American people live paycheck to paycheck, and I'm certain that's true for those who are federal employees as well. And so we got to get this solved. But, again, we're offering people an opportunity. If Democrats want to reopen the government and end the shutdown and get federal employees paid again, they have an opportunity to do that today. All they have to do, plus get other things that they want in terms of priorities for immigration. All they have to do is give the president some money for border security. And I think that's a fair trade. The administration has moved. The president has been willing to compromise and been flexible. Democrats have not. So
Democrats are saying there have been reports that House Democrats are looking at a border security rather than mentioning the wall at all, money for that. And then I would say, could you even go further and put a date certain in there where you talk about it and let the experts, the analysts, tell you what to do and how to spend that money? Quick last word.
Sure. I think that we ought to listen to the experts, and they'll tell you that you need a wall in certain places.
Right.
And that's something the Democrats have not been willing to entertain.
All right. Senator Thune, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks, Harris.
We hope the best for the nation as you guys go forward.